She-Hulk episode 6 was absolute trash. Okay, you know how comedy is very subjective. So, what that means is different people find different things funny. And of all the episodes of She-Hulk, this one so far I have enjoyed the least. I didn't even enjoy it at all. And a big reason is because of the comedy in this episode. And it really felt like pointless filler. I did not like this episode whatsoever. This episode, She-Hulk, episode 6, called Just Jen. This episode represents, I think, what a lot of people thought this show was going to end up being like. They thought it was going to be just like this. Not every episode is like this. In fact, none of them are. But I think a lot of people like to push this narrative that this show is a certain type of way. Well, this episode was that certain type of way. There's two main plots in this episode. The first one is that Jennifer's going to her friend's wedding, and she wants her to go as her normal self, not as She-Hulk for once. So she goes to the wedding, and then Titania shows up because that storyline's not over yet, and they have a bit of a scuffle at the wedding. Basically what ends up happening is Jennifer gets drunk and she pukes, and then that ends up leading to Titania, messing with her, and then they have a brief fight. What I didn't like about this, I'm going to get to the second plot here in a minute, is, so look, I've never found this kind of humor funny. There's a movie that came out a few years ago, directed by Paul Feig. It was called Bridesmaids, and a lot of my friends told me that it was a great movie. I should watch it. It's really funny. I wound up getting it, like maybe 2010, I think, something around there, 2012. I forget exactly what year it was. It was a while ago. I watched it once, and I didn't laugh once. The movie's just not funny. That kind of humor, that very, awkward humor that Paul Feig uses in all his movies is not for me. This movie felt like a condensed version of that. I did not like it at all. The whole, she's going to get drunk and she pukes and everybody laughs and, people behaving awkwardly and, look, so, like that kind of humor just doesn't work for me, and it wasn't funny at all. The other plot of this episode involves a new character named Mr. Immortal, who has the ability to not die, with the story being that he is trying to resolve a legal dispute because basically he's faked his death several times against other women he's married. So he's gotten married numerous times and then faked his death numerous times, doing this in order to basically get out of the marriage without having to, pay alimony or whatever. That's the way I interpreted that. Maybe I missed something, but that seems to be the story. So all of his previous wives, 8 of them actually, I don't know about all, but 8 of them, I think that is all of them, they all filed suits against him. So it's a big class action lawsuit where they basically explain that he cannot die, and as a result of that, that's the second plot of the episode. That's mostly focused on, not on Jen because she is at the wedding, but on Nikki. Nikki's the one that resolves that. So what ends up happening is they go and they find this website called Intelligentsia, and I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a parody of like Kiwi Farms. I have no idea what they're trying to make fun of here. I really don't know. But they found out that there's a whole bunch of websites that hate She-Hulk, and they make articles and message board posts about how much they hate her, which that happens to pretty much anybody who has any semblance of fame in the real world. So addressing that in the show is interesting, but man, this episode straight up sucked. None of the jokes were good. Some of the CG when she was She-Hulk early in the episode, maybe it's just me, but there was something wrong with her face. Almost like the mouth did not match up with what she was saying. Sort of like maybe a slightly botched ADR job. I really don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that noticed this, but there was a part of this episode that looked weird. The big difference between this and previous episodes is that this is directed by Anu Valia, who also did episode 5. The first 4 were done by Kat Corio, and when it comes to Anu Valia, it's a different style. But I did like episode 5. I really did. This one, though, this really sucked. I mean, like I said, this episode's probably going to get skewered by the internet and rightfully so, because it kind of is trash. So Thumbs down. If you are watching this show, I'm not sure what the point is of watching this episode. Like, if you've seen my review before you see the episode, don't even bother. It is a waste of time. I can't believe that 2 nights in a row Disney's been a big disappointment. Usually they don't have that kind of record. They usually disappoint one of the 2 times. But this time you had Andor, which was just a complete snore fest for me. I reviewed that yesterday on the channel. And then you have this episode of She-Hulk, which was bad. I'm hoping the last 3 episodes of She-Hulk are good, but man, I don't know. Personally, this was bad. Andor was bad. Disney Plus is not really delivering on their shows very well this week. Not really happy about it, but that's my thoughts. What did you think? Let me know down below. We'll talk soon.